regarding our own community, and as a result, you become a natural leader. You become someone that people respect, and that's just experience that I have, and it's not something that Ryan has because he hasn't actually been in our school system, and he hasn't been in the schoolyards, and he doesn't. These people are not necessarily his friends. They, you know, a lot of these people are people that I know.
Well, let me give some equal time to Ryan Ward to counter what you're saying.
I have lots of other experience that I can bring to the position. I may not have been to a number of the Toronto schools recently, and but I've got a ton of other types of experience that will very easily bring to the position of trustee. I managed an organization that did tax returns for lower income Canadians throughout all of Toronto, and in an 8-week period we completed 16,000 tax returns, and there were 700 volunteers, and it doesn't really matter what it is that you've done. I've seen issues that I've represented in any way I possibly can because I want to be there and I want to be involved in Ward 11, and I'm doing my best to learn everything that it is that Ward 11 is all about. Whether I've got students in the schools or not, it's still, I believe, still irrelevant because you can always learn what it is that somebody has to deal with, and you can always learn by talking to the people that it affects, and that's the most important thing.
Are you, let me ask you both this. Ryan Ward, I'll ask you first. Are you running in this election because of the mess that's been created by the incumbent trustees?
That's part of it. It is definitely part of the reason I'm running.
Is that why you're running? Is that part of it?
It's a small part of it. It is actually a small part of it. I mean, this for me...
You would have run anyway.
It was something that, yes, I was interested in doing. Once I got involved with my oldest daughter, 7, she started school. She's now in grade 2. She started school several years ago, 3 full years ago, and then some. And I was involved with her education from the very outset. It was those early days of JK, and spent the day in the JK class with her and getting to know her teacher, who is someone who I've actually done extra work with on environmental issues in the past few years, even though it's been a few years since one of my daughters was in her class. These are the things that start to form within you. These are the experiences that you start to treasure, and before you know it, you become an advocate for parental involvement in the school system, and then you get involved in school council, and you earn your bones, as they say, learning and dealing with the issues at school council. And for me, after a lot, this is not something that I entered into lightly. I went through a very long process. I spoke with the principal at my school. I spoke with the parent community at my school.
I've only got half an hour here, okay?
I find it was eventually an inner calling.
I get the point. You're involved with the school. Yeah. We all get that point. If you, no matter who becomes trustee, you or someone else, there's going to be a lot of remedial work to be done, is there not? Absolutely. Both to restore the faith people have in that in that school board, and just restore somehow the reputation for good education that existed at the board years before that. How would you do that? What would be some of the things you would do as trustee to try and turn that around so you could get back to talking about the issues involving the kids that might make for them a better education system? Well,
in fairness, Steele, and this is something that people sort of seem to gloss over, the Toronto Catholic District School Board consistently performs above the provincial averages in EQAO testing. The quality of the graduates coming from our school system are fantastic. So that's the message that needs to be spoken about, and that's the support. It's about supporting student achievement. And I don't think
but you can't gloss over it. The parents aren't going to let you gloss over it that easily.
No. I want to make sure that people know that this is still one of the leading school boards in the province.
Yeah.
I'm all about being wide open when it comes to spreading any kind of information that people want to know about. And that's why I want to set up town hall meetings. I want to be there posting information on my website and providing people with what my expenditures are. I want to be as open and accountable as I possibly can be for the people of Ward 11. I'm also going to work with the other trustees. In so many aspects, I work with people from the entire political spectrum, and I've done this for so many years, that it's important to be open and accountable. And I'm also fiscally very conservative when it comes to wanting to find what is best for the board within our means and not going outside our means.
Okay, let's take some questions here on the line. Here's Peter calling from the ward. Peter, what's your question for the candidates?
Oh, this question is for Kevin Morrison. You say you would like to implement full-time equity positions, promote equity within the schools. Isn't this already being done by Kirk Mark, the coordinator of race and ethnic relations and multiculturalism?
Well, to a degree, you're right. Yes, it is something that the board has addressed. When I talk about equity, I'm talking about the greater divide that seems to have been created. I referenced it earlier, just in the fact that you have schools where you have a parent community that will be raising as much as $35,000 for a school that maybe has 500 people in it, sorry, 500 plus. The block budget that the principal gets is $50,000, and that means that at $35,000, that's a 70% supplement, and that's for stuff like school trips. Now, if you go to another school where you don't have such a strong community, where you don't have parents that are willing to go to fundraisers and give $5 every other week.
Or there just isn't that kind of money in the community,
that kind of money,
right?
Yeah, and I live within a community where we have a school just like that, and we help them as a parent community, and that's what I mean about equity. And this is something that, you know, this is a really important issue, because each child that comes into our school system should be treated equally. Each child should have equal opportunity. Each child should have an equally interesting experience by going to the farms and going to the museums and stuff that we currently are paying for as parents. I can keep on going on and on, and on about this, but I shouldn't, because you know, we only have half an hour.
That's
I hope
right, we only have half an hour. Okay, Ryan, your thoughts on equity?
My thoughts are exactly, I just want to make sure that when it comes to equity, Ward 11 is as represented as every other area of Toronto. There are 12 trustees that are all going to be fighting for everything they can, and we need to work together to make sure that every area is treated equally, no matter what it takes. And if it comes to raising money and finding ways of getting more money, I'm quite willing to do this.
No, I'm sorry, I have to disagree. Parents should not be trying to raise $30,000+ to buy textbooks for their children in a public school system. This is why we pay taxes. This is why we work hard. I'm not saying that parents shouldn't be out raising money, but honestly, this has got to the point where we're basically paying for the schools to run in one shape or form, and that has to stop, because it's not fair and it's not right. It's just not what public education is all about. And it's a real threat to the system. The more it happens, the more it's going to become a part of the culture, and it has to be sort of reined in at some point. Right? It's just that's the point that I need to make here.
All right, here's Dave now. He's on the line. Dave's calling from BC.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, Dave. You're calling from BC?
I most certainly am, yeah. Wow. Just anyways, in light of concerns, yes, I want to know your stances, both you guys' stances on the background checks, fingerprinting and profiling of future teachers, because my children will be going to school in that ward.
Oh, yeah.
And I just wondering, wondering if anybody was going to follow up on their debate, or are you just politicking, you know what I mean?
And you want to know about background checks for teachers, right?
Most
what
certainly.
The policy is?
Profiling and, you know what I mean?
All right.
Yeah.
There's Dave with